All right, in this lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about hunger because I think those of you who have been doing this now for a couple of weeks and having some success may be experiencing a time where you may be struggling with being able to keep eating the way that you've been eating. And most of you have done a great job eating healthier, but I know that whenever you get into plans like this, after a couple weeks, you tend to lose some focus because you're hungry and you just don't feel satisfied. Well, let's go over some very important points today on how you can beat that and to stay on the right road and give your body that chance it needs to become healthier. So let's talk a little bit about hunger today. And in particular, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can beat it. And during that process, we're going to understand a little bit about what's going on and what's actually causing some of that to happen. So, the first thing that I would like you guys to do would be to limit how much processed foods that you consume. And it's kind of intuitive, but whenever you stop eating so much processed foods, and number one, processed foods are the foods that come in boxes and bags and cans and in other forms. And when you look at the ingredients list, it sometimes requires like literally a doctorate degree to understand the whole thing. I personally don't even know what some of the ingredients are in there. And anytime I see something that I don't recognize or feel comfortable with, it gets put right back down. I never really try to go and consume those foods that I have no idea what's in the ingredients list. But obviously, if you're consuming these processed foods, it would be best to switch over to more raw foods because they do break down more slowly. And whenever that happens, it creates a much slower and steady flow of sugar into your blood. All right, and then your pancreas is releasing that insulin slowly, and you don't feel hungry as quick. All right, so whenever you have a lot of insulin in your blood, it's going to drop your blood sugar levels when you consume a lot of processed foods. And whenever you consume more raw foods, that doesn't happen quite as quickly. Now, another thing too is that when you're eating more processed foods in place of raw foods, you're not meeting your body's nutritional requirements, okay? And it just makes sense. You need so much vitamin A, you need so much vitamin E, you need so much niacin and all those other B vitamins and everything else. But what happens is when you eat a lot of processed foods, you're not doing your body justice and getting those foods in. So your body sends signals to your brain to say, we need to eat. All right. And it does that even though these processed foods that you're eating may be loaded in calories and you're not even coming anywhere close to not eating enough. Okay. You're getting enough calories, but these processed foods contain so little nutritional value that your body tells you that you're still hungry, and in hopes that when you eat again, you're going to feed it those nutrients that it needs. And unfortunately, we don't have different hunger signals. Okay, there's only one kind of hunger that you experience, and that hunger could be because you're missing, vitamin B12, or that hunger that you're getting is because you really need to eat again. So eating processed foods can trick your body into wanting to eat more, even though you've eaten enough calories from them. So limit how much of those that you eat in place of more raw foods. The second is to simply give up sugary drinks. There's no room in anyone's diet for lots of soda that's loaded with all the sugars and the fruit juices and things like that. It's better to switch over to water or unsweetened teas and try to eliminate all those other sugary drinks because they do the same thing that processed foods will do. They're gonna make that insulin kick up from your pancreas. It's going to make your blood sugar drop very quickly, and you're going to be starving again in a short amount of time. The next is to avoid low-fat products that have high sugar content. And that should be common sense as well, because what products and companies do is that if it's not high in fat, they replace it with something else, and it's usually sugar and or a large amount of salt. So you want to try to avoid low-fat products, but the only exception to that rule is dairy. All right, so you're looking to buy the low-fat or no-fat cheese sticks and the yogurts and the milks and those kinds of things, and avoid all the other low-fat products like low-fat potato chips, low-fat granola bars, snack bars, things like that. Next is to greatly limit the amount of sweets that you consume. All right. Now, while that might seem obvious, it has to be said. Have a piece of chocolate or a slice of your favorite cake every now and then, but don't make a habit of eating too much of it on a regular basis. Remember, your goal is to eat no more than 100 calories of those per day. And if you're eating more than that, then you're causing your sugar levels to be swung in all kinds of different directions. It's going to leave you feeling hungry. Stay adequately hydrated. The same thing applies with hydration. What people don't realize is that when you become just the slightest bit dehydrated, you get those same hunger feelings sent to your brain as you do when you truly are hungry because blood sugar levels are low or you consume too much processed foods. So again, your body doesn't have a different signal that it sends and makes you feel hunger in a different way because you're thirsty. So because you're not adequately hydrated enough, or whenever you do become slightly dehydrated, you're going to get those same hunger feelings sent around telling you that you need to eat in hopes that whenever you eat again, you'll drink something or you'll eat a food that has a high water content. So your goal was to try to drink at least 6 to 8 cups, and a cup is an 8-ounce serving or 8-ounce fluid of water each day. And that can generally keep you hydrated enough, but if you do a lot of exercise, you probably need some more than that. But that's a great start, is to keep your body well hydrated. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but to beat hunger, you need to eat every 3 to 4 hours. And whenever you do that, your goal is to make sure that you always have balance by adding a healthy protein source. So if you're eating more raw foods, less processed foods, and adding a protein source to that, and you're staying within your calorie budget, it's going to go a long way in helping you to not feel as hungry in between meals. So, I want to mention right now as well is if you're not feeling hungry after every 3 to 4 hours, it means your metabolic rate is not working for you. You should feel hungry whenever, 2.5, 3 hours, 3.5 hours rolls around. You should start to feel hungry. And what that is that actually a good cue to you that your body's metabolism is actually working in a way that it's supposed to work. So if you're not getting hungry after 3 to 4 hours, you're still not, your metabolic rate is still not working for you. All right, you should feel hungry, and that means that it's time to eat again, but you should be feeding your body with healthy things within your calorie budget. And then lastly, stay active. When you go for a brisk fitness walk, let's say you're starving and you go for a brisk fitness walk and you come back and you assess your hunger, I guarantee you that your level of hunger will be less after that brisk fitness walk than it was before you left. So staying active, all right, in between meals and snacks can go a long way in helping you feel less hungry in between meals and snacks. It's a great thing to do, not only for health, but to beat hunger as well. All right, so what happens when all else fails? You're eating within your calorie budget. You're staying perfectly within a certain amount of calories for your breakfast, snack 1, lunch, snack 2, and dinner, but you're still starving. What do you do? Well, here are a couple tips that I will offer you if this is the case. And what I just mentioned again, go for a walk. All right, if you've been eating consistently and you've been doing everything correctly, go for a brisk fitness walk. I promise you, when you come back, your feelings of hunger may be completely gone, or they'll be at least dramatically less than they were before you went. Drink a cup or 2 of water. Okay, again, you don't know whether those hunger signals are coming from being really hungry or if they're coming from you being dehydrated. So if you know you've been doing everything correctly, try drinking a cup or 2 of water, and that may help alleviate some of those hunger pangs. If that fails, try chewing on some low-sugar gum. And just that chewing motion that you do, all right, chomping up and down with your jaws can trick your brain into thinking that you're eating and alleviate hunger pangs. So that's a great tip if all else is failing for you. And then if all that fails, then by all means, you need to eat something. If you're that hungry, your body's telling you that you should have something to eat. Just be sensible and realistic about it, and eat a balanced meal or snack that has an adequate amount of protein in there, and you should be fine. So I hope that this helped, because I'm sure some of you are finding that you're getting some pretty intense hunger pangs from all this, but chances are you can be doing something a little bit better to alleviate those. So I hope that helped. I'll talk to you guys again. Bye-bye.